Let's go. We are recording. We are live. Welcome back to the Weeknight Mysteries podcast. My name is Euros, and as every week, I'm here with my co-host Rain.
Hello. What's with that tone?
I don't know. Sorry.
I'm with my co-host Rain.
Yeah. Today we're gonna be discussing a case that once again I think you found.
Via our good friend ChatGPT.
Yeah. So another ChatGPT suggested case, but I'm actually interested in this one very much because I've never heard about this case, particularly the Isdal Woman case, and it's apparently some sort of a massive case that's apparently very famous, especially in Norway, because everything takes place in Norway. We have a woman, a young woman who was between the ages of maybe mid 20s to mid 30s, and she was found dead in the second largest city in Norway called Bergen. And no one really knows her identity. So I guess you could say she's a Jane Doe at this point. But the circumstances surrounding her death are so bizarre.
Yeah, definitely very mysterious. And you could say this is an inter-European, let's say, crime because she wasn't from Norway, or at least that's what the interview or the investigation managed to find out.
Yeah. And
right?
also, I think it's also a big question if this is a crime in general.
True.
We don't really know what happened. It could have been self harm.
I wouldn't really think so, but then again, let's talk about it first.
I would say why I would mention that it could be potentially self harm is because I believe that was the official ruling by the investigators in Norway. So there's also people speculating that there are signs of foul play, and there are so many crazy details here. So I'm just kind of trying to prepare our listeners because this is
Wild ride.
a wild ride to say the least. Let's do it. So, the Isdal woman, she is an unidentified woman, and she was found dead in Bergen, in this kind of a mountain slope, I would assume. So, for people who don't know, Bergen is covered by mountains.
And it's the second largest city in Norway.
Yeah.
You mentioned something about Bergen, it's one of the cities that don't really see the sun that much.
Yeah, I think due to its like position in the west coast of Norway, and it's surrounded by these mountains, so it kind of gets like a lot of rain that come from the what is it?
The coast?
The coast of the ocean. It's not the ocean. It's like the some sort of a sea there. I don't know how it's called exactly, but yeah, it's a very rainy, damp city. Doesn't get much sunlight and is covered by these mountains.
Yeah, but it is a proper city.
And it's on the coast. It's like a coastal city, but covered by mountains.
I did a little bit of research, and in the 1970s, during this crime,
Crime, yeah. Because the woman was found in 1970.
yeah, there were about 3.8 million people in the city.
3.8 million?
Yeah.
Are you sure? No way.
Why?
Oh, maybe like the
The population of the city.
3.8 million? I doubt it, man.
You doubt it?
Because the whole Norway is like 5 million.
Potentially, yeah.
Maybe it was 370 or something.
I found a chart. I'll show you later on.
Yeah, I doubt it's
3.8 mil.
I doubt it, dude. That would mean that that's the second largest city of a country that has 5 million people.
It should be the biggest, the largest,
It
right?
would be like the whole country essentially. No, I think you're maybe you looked at Norway's population.
Nah. Potentially,
I
yeah, in
think
1970s.
it would make sense for me. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was Norwegian population in the 1970s, but it's a big city. I currently on Wikipedia, I think it's like 400K.
I probably just found the Norway's population in 1970s.
Yeah, no, but still, I mean, Norway then is a pretty small country, you would have to say.
Oh, well, their population is way more than ours.
Yeah, Lithuania is like so tiny. But okay, now let's jump back in to the case at hand. So we have a 2016 sketch of the woman by an artist from America, a composite sketch artist from America, Stephen Mizal, actually looked at the morgue photographs, like the pictures that were taken in 1970 at the morgue in Norway. And
But wasn't she burnt though?
she was burnt, but her face apparently was burnt to the point where it was unrecognizable. But I guess they could still take a look at the morgue.
Yeah, distinguish the features
Something
a
like
little
that.
bit.
Yeah, so this is the image that was developed. So you could see, at least in my notes, I have this image. I'll be showing this probably on the YouTube channel. There's a woman, you know what I mean? She looks like she's in her 20s, mid 20s. She has black hair and she has a little bit more of a darker features. She doesn't necessarily look like a typical woman from Norway. She has more, let's say, Southern European features for sure, in my opinion. The woman was found on the 29th of November, so basically the last day of fall. Police initially ruled the case to be a self-harm case. But the nature of the case and the many various weird details surrounding this case leads a lot of people to believe that maybe there's something else happening here. Maybe it's not self-harm. Maybe she was murdered by a unknown assailant. But I guess that's for everyone to decide for themselves. The discovery was made by a man who was actually strolling around in the foothills of a mountain called Ulriken. Ulriken is one of the big mountains in
Yeah.
the area. He was walking with his two young daughters, and apparently one of the young daughters spotted a body. Everything was happening in this area known as the Ice Valley, also known as the Death Valley, to be honest, because back in the day there were a lot of self-harm incidents and other hiking accidents during the Middle Ages. So it is known as a dangerous spot, and it has somewhat of a reputation where people come and I would say they would end their lives there.
Yeah, but I also read
Voluntarily.
that it's kind of steep. It's definitely not an easy trail, and there were like multiple hikers that needed to be rescued.
From that particular location. Yeah, those mountains could really get up there. So, as the two girls, as they were walking, right, they came across a charred body of a woman. So it was kind of burned. And there was also some scree. So, among some scree. So, scree, I had to look it up what it means. So, scree is apparently a collection of broken rock fragments at the base of a cliff or other steep rocky mass that has accumulated throughout periodic rockfall. So, at first, when I was reading the story, right, I was thinking that, wait, this woman probably fell
Yeah, it seemed like it.
because she was found at like on the bottom of a cliff, right? So I was like,
With a bunch of tiny little rocks around her.
yeah. So I was like, wait, so she fell down. Now, police came out there real quick. You know what I mean? They kind of were, let's investigate what's happening here. So they launched a full-scale investigation immediately in the 70s. I mean, police was doing their job properly, I guess.
Okay.
And they filed a case and they were examining the site. So they noticed that the woman was in a bit of a maybe strange position. It was the supine position. So supine position is basically when you're laying on your back.
Yeah, I actually also did a little bit of extra research about it. It's also known as a boxer's pose. You know, like you would imagine a boxer, like one hand in front of the other, and kind of like close to their bodies. And basically, I read that it happens when with clenched fists. Additionally, and it's
Yeah, she
also
had the clenched fists. Yep.
yeah, and apparently it's caused by the shrinkage of body tissues and muscles due to dehydration when it's burning.
The clenching of the fists.
The clenching, the boxer's pose.
Oh,
Yeah, so it's
okay.
just it happens that way if the body burns.
Oh, okay, okay. So it kind of like you kind of go into this defensive boxing
Kind of like a
position.
curled up position, yeah,
Okay, that's interesting.
right?
Yeah. So that's another interesting part. Her hands were clenched, so it seems like she was on fire for some period of time. And there was also evidence, apparently, of a nearby campfire around where the woman was found. So there was a campfire there as well. So maybe indications that she was, camping there for a bit.
I wonder if the fire in that campfire was fresh. Like, is there a possibility that she was burning at the same time that maybe some other people were like somewhere close doing a campfire?
So I don't know exactly if the campfire was still on by the time they came out there. It might have been already, the campfire might have been already been put out, but they just said there was evidence of a campfire, like there was a campfire at some point, but maybe it's already put out. And I think it was kind of indicated that maybe the woman was connected to the campfire. It wasn't like some other people, but I could be mistaken here. So the front body of the woman and her clothes have been severely burned. So she kind of burned from like the frontal position. Kind of strange, honestly.
Yeah, pretty strange.
And her face was unrecognizable at that point, probably due to damage of burning. Also located or placed near the body and affected by the fire were some of apparently the woman's belongings, but we don't really know exactly whose belongings. But I guess we just have to go with thinking that maybe these belongings belong to the woman, the Isdal woman, the Jane Doe. So there was an empty bottle of Saint Halvard liquor. So I had to look up this thing. So it's a Norwegian liquor. It was created back in the day by the end of the 19th century by Albert Schiel. And it's basically just a cognac flavored. It's like based on cognac flavored with herbs and spices. So it seems like
Regular.
but it's a strong drink. It's a strong drink, and I'm thinking it's probably some sort of an inflammable drink or something like that. I'm not really sure if that has anything to do with it, but it's like a hard booze, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Seemed like some hard cognac. Then there were two plastic water bottles. So let's imagine, right? Two plastic water bottles. I'm not sure if they were empty or if they had water in them. Maybe you ran across that.
No, just also water bottles.
Just water bottles,
Yeah.
right? There was a plastic passport holder, but I don't know if there was any passport in it. And since the lady is a unidentified Jane Doe, I believe that there was just nothing there, just an empty passport holder without anything in it. There were some rubber boots, and later on, we will actually talk about those particular rubber boots that were found at the scene actually confirmed some of the movement that this woman had made leading up to her death, because there was a salesman from another town who sold that particular pair of boots to her. That confirms us that she was in that town, but that's coming up in a little bit. There was also a woolen jumper and a scarf. There were nylon stockings, one umbrella, one purse, and the matchbox.
I wonder why it's scattered around her there, though. Like, was she carrying a bag? Why are all the things scattered around her charred body?
Yeah. Well,
Because honestly, it seems like, it seems like with all the stuff that she brought with her, it seemed like a day trip. It doesn't seem like she's gonna camp there or anything. She seemed prepared, but not like she didn't have a sleeping bag with her.
yeah, but then immediately you would have to think maybe this was a potential self-harm moment, because I could see how you grab that hard booze before you do something.
2 bottles of water, though. For what?
To swallow pills.
Oh, yeah.
To swallow the large amount of pills that were found in her body.
True.
Sleeping pills.
But I'm still confused how all of the items managed to be scattered around
The
her.
plastic passport holder with no passport. Perhaps it had
A bag.
no, it had the passport in it, but maybe on the hike the woman discarded the passport.
But then they never really found anything, and even until now, nobody found anything.
Maybe she just threw it away somewhere,
Like, maybe, yeah.
like far away. You know how it's impossible to find something in the vast wilderness.
True.
Rubber boots, yeah, woolen jumper, scarf, nylon stockings, umbrella, purse, and a matchbox. These are the items. There was also a watch actually found, a watch. There were 2 earrings and a ring. So I don't know if these items were on the woman's body or were these scattered around her. I don't think it was ever clarified. Also around the body there were traces of burned paper, okay? I have no idea what that means. Just burned paper. What kind of what could be, it could be burned paper. What do you think that is?
Honestly, it could be anything. It's
At this
something we'll
point.
never know.
Exactly. And beneath I think the burnt, either the, I have no idea how to read this information, so it's either beneath the burnt paper or beneath the woman. I have no idea, but I'm thinking maybe beneath the burnt paper there was a fur hat which was later found to have traces of petrol. So that's definitely inflammable substance.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Like, where did she get the petrol? Because what did she use
At
to
the
burn?
gas station?
And where did she put it? How did she manage to transport it? Maybe
In a bottle?
in a bottle, and then maybe that bottle also burned with her.
Yeah.
So if we're going with the self-harm theory, I'm thinking she drenched herself with petrol and then just...
Yes. With a matchbox.
Okay, that's crazy, yeah.
But hold your horses. There might be a different outcome here.
Might be, yeah, definitely.
So all identifying marks and labels on all of these items had been removed or rubbed off. So it seems like by purpose. So if this woman was trying to commit self-harm on her own accord, then she must have wanted to hide her identity.
Which is weird, right? I also read that her fingerprints were sanded off.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that part. Really? Mm-hmm. Oh my God. How do you do that? Sand it off? Mm-hmm. So wait, her.
So basically, she didn't have thumbprints anymore. I don't know how that works. Maybe she did it before.
Really?
Or someone did it after. I have no idea. Maybe it got scorched.
Maybe it was by the fire.
Potentially.
Could it be by the fire? Could it be that? Because I'm thinking, how do you do that? Could you just remove your fingerprints?
By scratching it off, I believe so, yeah. Well, not like scratching it off, probably with sandpaper or something.
Okay,
Maybe.
perhaps. But then this if that was the case, if she did it on her own accord before all of this, that would mean that this woman is kind of strange.
Really strange. Like, who was she hiding from?
That's a good question. 3 days later, investigators found 2 suitcases that belonged to the woman.
How did they know it belonged to the woman?
Well, it's actually quite funny because I think one of the items. Well, we'll get to it in a bit, but I could be mistaken here. But I think I'm going to walk you through some information here. So I think one of her fingerprints were matched to something. So
Oh.
that's why I was a little bit interested. maybe the fingerprints were kind of like damaged by the fire, I'm thinking.
But not completely, yeah.
I'm thinking maybe that could be the, but I could be wrong here. But so hold on. I was also like wondering how did they know, but I think there was an explanation. I'll get into it in a few moments. So yeah, they find two suitcases at the railway station at the Bergen. Okay, and in the lining of one suitcase. So I don't know what that means. In the lining of one suitcase.
So in one pocket, I believe.
Or do you think it could be like a secret
Secret
area?
pocket?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
No? Okay. Yeah, it could be a real pocket.
Can I read this one?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, because I wanted to play a little game, and wherein you have to tell me if it's weird. I'm gonna tell the items. You're gonna tell me if it's weird or is it like a regular thing that you're gonna see.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it.
First one. So in the lining of one suitcase, the police discovered 100 Dutch mark notes, which is
I think it's Deutsche.
Deutsche. What's a Deutsche mark?
I think it's Deutsche marks are. It's like I think
German?
German.
Or like a mixture of everything.
I think
German,
it's,
French.
I think it's the German before the euro came in.
Oh.
So it's the German. I think
German money.
it's either Dutch money or German money. Honestly, I have no idea. I'm sorry.
Deutsche. Okay, well then it's 137 USD in 1970. Weird or not?
Well, the thing is, 137 USD in 1970
It's a lot.
Is the same as 1,100 in today's money.
Mm-hmm.
So 1.1K just to leave it abandoned, I think is very weird.
Immediately. No, what if you're like, I don't know, a tourist and you need some cash? You know, they didn't have cards back then.
No, but why would the woman abandon her suitcase?
Filled with that money.
Are you saying, is it strange that the woman had that item, or is it strange that the woman had abandoned the money in general?
Both, basically.
Because I think it's strange that she abandoned the money, but I don't think it's strange to have
For
it
her
on
to
you.
have
No,
it,
I think it's
yeah.
normal. I think it's like good chunk of change, like it's a very proper chunk of change. Like if you have $1,000, you could probably like
She had
safely
money.
like you could she had money and you could safely kind of walk around.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's go to the other item.
Shoes.
I guess it's normal.
Eczema cream. It's basically a skin disease.
Normal.
Normal, right? Non-prescription glasses.
Normal.
Sunglasses with partial fingerprints, which apparently matched the woman.
Here we go. This is how they found out that the
Partial.
suitcase belonged to the woman.
Mm-hmm.
The fingerprint, they matched it. Oh my God, they really were doing some high tech stuff. But I think it's completely normal. All of these items. So
Okay,
far.
wait. We're gonna get there. Cosmetics.
Normal.
Normal. Wigs, but in various different sizes.
No, this is already
and
strange.
styles.
No. Red flag.
Red flag, right? Now, multiple sets of clothing. Normal.
Normal.
But it was stripped of labels. So the tags were cut off.
I guess that's not that strange. I mean, like, don't you cut the tags off the clothes anyways?
No, like at the back of the clothes, like a little logo at the back. You cut
Okay,
it.
that's weird. Yeah, I don't cut it.
I mean, that's what I understood. Like it was also cut off.
Yeah, okay, that would be strange.
That would
in
be
my
pretty
opinion.
weird, right?
Yeah.
And then notepad filled with seemingly random notes and codes.
Yeah, what's that all about?
Yeah,
That's
that the
strange.
police couldn't understand or decipher. Getting really weird, right? And then lastly, a map with several locations marked, including one near the spot where her body was found.
Really? They found that?
Yeah.
Oh my God, because I missed this detail. Then it's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird. It's definitely weird.
Yeah, as I was reading it, I was like, normal, normal, normal. Oh, wait, what?
Yeah. But I'm thinking, why was the suitcase abandoned? Or the two suitcases? Why were they abandoned in the first place? I guess we're going to get into it in a bit.
At a train station.
At the train station, yeah.
Not even at the hotel.
Maybe she went from some other town. I think there could be a situation where she arrived at the Bergen once more on the day when maybe she even died. She just hopped off a train, left her suitcase, and went to the mountains.
Well, that's a pretty weird thing
No,
to
but
do.
the whole case is weird.
True.
So it kind of makes perfect sense. Some weird actions. But that's a good point. So those were the stuff in her two suitcases.
Yeah.
An autopsy conducted that this woman had died from a combination of incapacitation, which is basically when the brain is lacking sufficient oxygen, and by poisoning by carbon monoxide. Okay, so the incapacitation apparently happened by
Orbital.
phenobarbital.
Phenobarbital. I had to
Phenobarbital.
actually Google it, like to
What it is?
understand what it meant.
Yeah,
Because,
me
wow,
too.
it was crazy.
So apparently it's a medication,
Sedative.
a sedative, right? What do you know about it?
It's apparently a sedative or anticonvulsant drug caused her to lose consciousness or become unable to act, or incapacitated. In high doses, it can lead to respiratory depression or unconsciousness.
Yeah, and I can see that it's usually like used to treat seizures for young children. And also, I think, it's kind of like maybe like a seizure medication. So I think it was medication. If I'm reading this information correctly, this means that she had some sort of medication on her when she took, right? And then carbon monoxide poisoning. That's basically
The fire. No.
yeah,
Yeah.
when you lose the consciousness, the fire. Also, there was soot found in her lungs.
Yeah, so basically she was burning at one point.
Yeah, burning. Because you know what soot is? I had to Google.
Yeah.
You knew what soot is? I had no idea what soot is. So soot is like the fumes.
Yeah.
You know, like a truck when the truck's
black
moving,
stuff,
like the
black smoke.
black comes the black
Stuff, yeah.
the black stuff. So that's soot apparently. And analysis of the woman's blood and stomach showed that she had consumed somewhere between 50 and 70 sleeping pills.
Now that's crazy.
Yeah, and there were around 12 sleeping pills found next to her body. So that to me indicates that she kind of like
Chugged it down.
chugged it, and like she didn't even, like the other 12 sleeping pills just kind of like scattered around.
She probably couldn't take it anymore.
So she just had to like in one chug.
Yeah, I'm trying to picture it. Maybe how would you even like drink 50 to 70 pills in one chug?
I think with a lot of water.
And maybe that's the reason why there were like so many bottles, well, 2 bottles of water.
Yeah, I think so. And then I think how you explain the other like 12 on the ground is that like as she was chugging them, some kind of like got all over the place. So she kind of must have did it in a very like panicky move, like one go, like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
That's what I was thinking. Okay. Her teeth and jaw were removed due to her unique dental work, and tissue samples of her organs were also taken, I think, for later analysis. Police launched an appeal for information in the Norwegian media regarding the woman's case. The last time she was seen alive had been actually not that long ago from when she was found dead. Okay, so she was found dead on November 29 in 1970, right? Last time she was positively identified was on November 23rd, which is 6 days before she was found dead. And she was witnessed when she checked out of room 407 of the Hotel Hardenhaven Hardenhaven is a hotel in Bergen. Okay.
Yeah, I checked the location and it was like in the center.
Yeah, it's in the center. It's kind of like a nice location. You know what I mean? I looked into it now. It's the Best Western Plus Hotel Hardenhaven. So,
An average hotel then.
yeah, Best Western, or as some people like to call them, the Worst Western.
Okay, you have to tell the audience a story.
So, some of the work colleagues of mine once traveled to Lithuania and they stayed at the Best Western and they felt like it was the Worst Western. So, that's the story.
Quick and easy story.
Quick and easy. So the hotel staff at this hotel where she checked out told police that she was a good-looking woman. That's what they noticed. A good-looking, kind of like exotic.
Exotic. Okay.
Yeah, it was mentioned multiple times that she was exotic, meaning that she wasn't like your typical Norwegian woman. She had darker features, more southern features, and she was around 5'4". She apparently had dark brown hair and small brown eyes, so definitely like southern features. And also, hotel staff noted that this woman kept mainly to her room, and she seemed to be on guard constantly.
Really weird.
She was on guard from someone. When she checked out, she paid her bill in cash and requested a taxi. Her movements between the time when she was last seen on the 23rd and the discovery of her body 6 months late, 6 days later, is completely unknown.
Wait. So do you think when she asked for a taxi, when she requested a taxi,
Yes.
that was the same? Do you think it's the same taxi driver?
What do you mean?
Like who drove her to the train station or something?
I'm thinking.
Is
the
it
way-
somehow connected?
No, the way I'm thinking, and I could be wrong here, and maybe an expert on this case, could correct me, but the way I'm thinking is that when she leaves the hotel on the 23rd, she probably leaves Bergen.
You think so?
I think she leaves Bergen and she returns to Bergen on the 29th via train, steps out the train, leaves the suitcases, goes to the mountains. Alone or with someone else, that's a different question. But I think I'm under the assumption that she leaves Bergen. But also worth mentioning that she was an attractive young woman. An exotic, attractive young woman. This will play a role. I'll tell you why, but keep in mind that she was like a more like attractive.
Well, basically, people would notice her in Norway.
And she was attractive, good looking. It was mentioned that she was a pretty lady multiple times. Okay, police were able to decode the notepads that you mentioned earlier with the strange codes.
Yeah.
So they were able to determine that it actually indicated the dates and places that the woman had visited. As a result, based on handwritten check-in forms, police determined that the woman had traveled around Norway during the time, right? So she went to Oslo at some point. She was in Trondheim, which is the third biggest city in Norway. She went to Stavanger. Stavanger is in the southern west coast of Norway, so it's around 2 hours away from Bergen.
It seemed like she was traveling all around Norway, like just on a loop.
Yep. And she also been to Paris at some point. She went to Paris. And she had 8 fake passports and aliases. 8 fake passports.
Now it's getting weirder and weirder. Like, who would have that? Do you have that?
Okay, so first of all, I want to stop you here. First of all, what do you think about the fake notepad entries?
What do you mean?
Why would she have, like, not fake, I'm sorry, but like the coded notepad entries? What do you think? Why would she like make a code?
It might not be a code. Maybe
It was a code. It was a code.
It was a code. Maybe it made sense for her. Maybe it's just like a series of dates that made sense for her.
No, no, no. It was written in a specific way to kind of, you have to
Really?
like decipher it.
Oh my gosh, that's weird.
Why would you do it?
When I read it, I initially thought like, sometimes you keep journals or like
No,
notes
no,
for
it
yourself.
was a code, written in code that you can't understand at first glance.
That's really weird.
Why would you do it?
Well, for safety purposes, maybe whoever will take a hold of that notepad, they wouldn't be able to decipher it.
That's a good point.
She was hiding something, and she was hiding from something or someone. Seems like.
That's actually a good point. That's actually a good point. And her traveling all around Norway with fake passports. I would like to also bring up. I read somewhere, I think on Reddit about this case a little bit. Someone made a good comment. Okay, they said that back in the 70s, it was easier to get a fake passport. You could almost even make it yourself.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because back in the 70s, they didn't have all that much new technology to kind of like add into the passport. They were more simple. And you could basically kind of make it on your own with just general knowledge of like a printing press or whatever.
Jeez. I'll try doing that now.
No, right now I think it's a lot harder, but back in the day,
Impossible.
yeah, she could do it. So I'm not saying that those eight fake passports, to me, it doesn't seem like it's necessarily very like high tech stuff. You know what I mean? It's not like it's something that I would like to like kind of frame it here that
Something you could have done.
I feel like you could do it if you really set your minds on doing it. You could get those passports.
But
And
why though? Why would you do?
to
And why?
keep hiding your identity from
But
someone.
why?
Now that's what we're trying to get into.
Like it must be something so grave. It's not like something you're trying to hide from a friend who's trying to borrow money from you.
Maybe
Because it's like the wigs,
the wigs, yeah.
the personas,
Mm-hmm.
and the fake passports. Seems like she was hiding from someone or something so big and dangerous. Perhaps
Like she was an international spy
that's what I was supposed to say. Like
for the Soviet Union.
or like NATO or something.
Probably not NATO, because she was then in theory spying on its own countries, right? So she probably was like from the Soviet Union or from
But she was
Chi-
French,
or
though.
China. Yeah, but that's how you get spies. You get like people that are already from that country. You on board them. You know what I mean? That's how you get
Why
spies.
would she go to a weird remote location in Bergen, Norway, in the middle of nowhere?
Because it was connected to, because it was 2 hours away from Stavanger. And Stavanger is a location where they were developing uh, top secret infrared missiles that could be launched from helicopters that first came out in 1972, 2 years after her death.
Well, she could have been in that city. What is it called again? Stavanger?
Yeah, she was there because she bought boots from a salesman in that
Why
city.
leave then?
Maybe you gathered what you had to gather and you go back to Bergen.
Interesting. Well,
Right.
more on this later on. Let's
Yeah.
continue with the story.
Also, all of these like 8 fake passports, right? They all had in all eight of them, she was from Belgium. So in all 8 fake passports, she indicates that she was a Belgium citizen. Now we kind of believe that she was potentially French, and it's a lot more likely that in what we know now is that this woman may have been born in Germany, but had moved to France at a very young age.
Apparently, some people noted, or some witnesses noted, that she was speaking several languages, including French, German, and broken English. At least we know her English is broken. We could like remove
UK.
UK or
Yeah.
other countries.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like she was from the UK. So, with the exception of one passport, all other 7 passports had even fake addresses that didn't even exist in Brussels. So she would write fake street names.
Wait, I just had this question that popped into my head. Do they speak French in Belgium?
In Belgium, they speak French and Dutch. I think the northern part of the country, the part that's close to Netherlands, they speak Dutch, and the part that's close to France, they speak French. So it's kind of like divided in half. The northern people speak Dutch, the southerners speak French.
Because remember, she could speak French and German.
Yeah.
And there are some countries in EU that use those languages, but which one? I can't remember.
German? Or
French
what?
and German.
French and German? I don't think anyone specific.
Switzerland?
Switzerland uses, I think, French and German and Italian. I think the same Belgium has a little
little bit
enclave
of those.
of German also in the corner. So it's
Just wanted to pinpoint, or at least like
maybe she just
reduce-
lived in different places and picked up different stuff.
Perhaps, yeah,
But it's
not
all-
English though.
It's still interesting because she could be as young as 26 or 25. So if she's only like 26 or 25 at that age to know so many languages and have so much money and to travel around, I mean, what's happening here?
No, I'm just interested. Like fluent French, fluent German, but broken English.
Sounds normal
In EU, yeah.
because they didn't have YouTube back then, you know what I mean? They couldn't
Yeah, but
watch
still, like-
Zoella. Zoella vlogs, so
Yeah.
you probably can't pick up like
No, but
English
it's like
that well.
if you're gonna learn a language, if you're gonna pick up a language, might as well be English, no? Or not necessarily. I mean, if you're
I'm
living
not
in
sure,
Central
man.
Europe and
Probably not that much, especially back in the 70s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was a different time. She apparently did some weird. Oh, no, sorry. So it was also learned at some point and that she previously stayed at several hotels in Bergen. So not just that worst Western, in other places as well. And she was known to change rooms after checking in. So once she checks in, she immediately changes her room to another
already
room.
feels like she's once again like trying to trick or remove her traces.
But does that even make sense though? Like if you're an international spy for like let's say Soviet Union, right? Like I don't know, man. Like
Maybe she wasn't a spy. Maybe she's just trying to like confuse people who are into trailing her or something.
damn, so they really did a bad job at trailing her.
Yep.
Because she was walking all over the city, different hotels,
You know,
changing
you know,
rooms.
like if you're hiding from someone, you can't really just like stay in one place.
Yeah, who's she hiding from?
Someone probably super dangerous.
Okay. And then she often told hotel staff that she was traveling with she was a traveling saleswoman and antiques dealer. And one witness said that she overheard the woman talking to a man in German in a Bergen hotel. So
Who was that man?
I don't know who that man was.
Random or hotel staff or a potential suspect?
I think this man never really comes up again, but yeah, we have a weird mention of a man. Others who met her mentioned that she spoke Flemish or broken English.
What's a Flemish?
So Flemish is native to the northern Belgium. It's basically Dutch. It's kind of like a Belgium Dutch.
Oh. Yeah, now I'm getting more and more convinced she's from Belgium.
No, I think she's from France. I think she just, I would assume, spent time there and picked it up. I think now we know she's from France, or she could be from Belgium, honestly. I don't know. Flemish, yeah, the native language. So the composite sketches of the unknown woman, based on several witness descriptions and analysis of her body, were circulated in many countries via Interpol. Despite the significant police resources deployed, she was never identified.
Wait. I think you forgot to mention that she spoke Flemish or broken English, and apparently some people also claimed that she smelled of garlic, which I think was highly offensive.
Yeah.
Like, what's with that comment? It's so random. Oh, she smelled of garlic. Maybe she just had a really good lunch.
Actually,
Random person?
Actually, I found a good explanation about that. I don't want to tell you just now,
Oh, come on.
No, please. Let's keep going with it. I'll tell you in a bit, but I found the explanation about it.
Like if someone described me as smelling like garlic, I would punch somebody.
Yeah, and I think that's what it was actually, but I'll tell you.
Okay.
So yeah, there were some composite sketches. They were like delivered via Interpol. Despite the significant police resources deployed, the woman was never identified, and the case was quickly closed. Authorities concluded that she had committed self-harm by ingesting the sleeping pills. However, other people believe that there's evidence to suggest that there was a murder. And now we can jump into like what are some theories that are floating around.
Okay, before we go to that though, I just one second. I just wanted to say that there was an eyewitness account in also 1970s. And
Oh, really?
yeah, apparently a Bergen resident saw the woman hiking
Probably not 70, probably like 70,
1970.
because she was found dead in 70s. She couldn't be walking around in 71.
No, 70.
Okay, sorry.
70.
Okay, good.
So
good.
apparently like a resident in Bergen saw her oddly dressed. I don't know how oddly, and accompanied by two men. This resident reported the sighting to the police, but the police told this resident to forget about it.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I've heard about this one.
And now, in also 1970, the original taxi driver taking the woman to Bergen railway station was never found. However, in 1991, there was an anonymous tip from a driver claimed a man joined the woman on the ride to the station. We don't know if this was something, I don't know, like a prank or something, or if it was connected, but we had a tip in 1991.
So why did the guy wait for 20 years?
It might not be the same guy. It might be just a complete random person.
Why did he wait 21 years to like all of a sudden come out like I was the guy?
Oh yeah, I just remembered. Yeah, I drove her. There was a man.
Oh, so wait, the guy who 20 years later comes out with details, he says that there was a guy with her in the back seat.
It might not be the original taxi driver. It could be
One of
someone
the-
else.
one of the taxi drivers.
Maybe.
What about that sighting with the hiking with the two men? though?
Yeah, it
What's
was a
that all
Bergen
about?
resident. I have no idea. Apparently,
When exactly do we know? When exactly?
1970. Probably the same time the same time she died.
I think I have that info somewhere here. But I think it was some days before.
Potentially, but she was found hiking, so I'm assuming on the same day. But this resident just never reported it way after.
Ah, I found it. I'm sorry. I found that information about what you were talking about. So the guy, once again, there's a little bit more to that sighting because the Bergen resident came out in 2005. Did you mention this one? I forgot. 2005. So the guy who claimed to have seen her reported the sighting 35 years later. So in 2005, this Bergen resident who saw her with the two men, he was 26. So by the time he was reporting it, he was already 61. So also another guy who kind of like
wait that late?
who kind of took his sweet time.
Very much so.
He told the local newspaper that after seeing the sketch circulated, he had suspected that the Isdal woman, the Jane Doe, was actually a woman that he had seen 5 days before the body was discovered, when he was hiking on the hillside of Floyen. Floyen is another hill. It's not Ulriken where she was found. It's a different mountain. Okay. And apparently this would, yeah, so the woman was dressed too lightly for a hike. She was only dressed for city clothes because up in the mountains it gets cold and windy.
Yeah.
And also ahead of her were two men wearing coats who looked southern. Okay, and the woman appeared resigned and seemed about to say something to this man, but but she didn't say anything. Like as the resident passed, she kind of was like, but she didn't say nothing
How can you remember this detail decades after?
because he went to someone actually right afterwards.
Oh,
He
and he
knew.
was told to forget about it.
Yeah, he was told to forget about it.
Well, that's
It's probably
not very smart.
No, probably police probably they heard the story a million times. Yeah, I saw some strange people, you know what I mean. But the police have their hands full with like
True.
other stuff, so they downplay these. And in this particular instance, it's interesting. I don't think it's mentioned when exactly, which day. So
No,
it's
no, no.
probably close around the time when the woman was found
Yeah,
dead.
I'm assuming so.
But we don't know exactly when she was on this other mountain. And honestly, I'm not even sure if that's the woman because think about it. We have a composite sketch of a woman whose face was unrecognizable. So, e- how certain that this was the same woman?
Well, maybe the police went to the hotel staff, asked them to describe
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
face.
So they probably did, yeah, of course. But then you just have a drawing, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then, I mean, how certain after all these years that you even saw the woman in the drawing? And I think it's like, I'm gonna just say, like, in my eyes, like, I feel like this is highly likely that it's not the Isdal woman with the two men. I don't know what was happening with that situation right there. I have no idea. That also sounds like a spooky
Damn!
situation.
How many Southern Europeans were in Bergen
I
that
don't know,
week?
but that's also like a spooky situation in my opinion. But I don't think it's probably not the Isdal woman though, in my opinion. But yeah, so we had, and then you mentioned the taxi guy. The taxi guy. What was the taxi guy saying? What was he saying?
Oh, like
That there
yeah.
was another man in the back seat,
In 1990, he said that in 1991.
and you know he just casually like woke up 20 years later and decided to speak up.
Once again, it might not be even the same taxi driver. We don't have any information about
Or
it.
maybe he just seen the sketch recently in 90s and then he like came out like that.
But maybe.
Yeah, so that's a lot of I guess that's like we just finished off like all the sightings pretty much, I believe. So the main questions that are still unanswered for everyone exactly is that why exactly did she had so many identities and unexplained travel plans? And was she actually involved in espionage? Was she an international spy potentially for the Soviet Union? Because it was 1970. It was the Cold War days, you know?
I was supposed to say that.
No, it's okay. I'm sorry.
All good. Yep.
So what do you think? Why does she have so many identities, travel plans? She keeps them coded, hard to decipher apparently, and then you know what I mean. She's kind of like changing rooms and being on guard at the hotel. Speaks a million different languages. She looks like she's not from Norway. She has a southern look.
Yeah, I actually have some like details from this case that convinces me that it was a little bit of it was the espionage theory.
Really?
Yeah, because A is her travel patterns, the use of aliases, the secret names, the possession of wigs, and I don't know, it kind of hinting a little bit of that.
Yeah, but don't you feel like it's
Okay, B, the coded notes in her notebook.
yeah.
And then C, the witnesses reported seeing her with unidentified men in public places.
I have at the very end of this, I'll present something, and I think I'm gonna be very interested to see if you change your mind.
Okay.
I'll present something that you probably, from the looks of it, you haven't seen that one source. and I'll see if it changes your mind.
Okay, okay. And lastly, I read somewhere that she had suggested connections to a Swiss banker, Francois Genoud, and possible interference by the Norwegian intelligence service in the investigation.
Yeah, but that was never proven.
Yeah, of course. Like,
So this guy that you mentioned, the Switzerland,
Francois Genoud or
something like
something.
that. So I just did a quick Google search on that guy, and apparently he met Adolf Hitler when he was a young kid, and he kind of became involved in like the whole Nazi stuff.
Oh, I immediately hate this guy.
Yeah, so he kind of got involved a little bit in the whole Nazi stuff somehow. Then he became a financial big banker guy in Switzerland, and then he was still supporting anti-Israel.
Oh, screwed.
You know what I mean? So he was like supporting like right now we have the Israel-Palestine war. This is not the first time it's happening. In like back in the day, it happened multiple times, and I think it was even happening at the time of the case, like 1970. I think it was happening. I could be my history
During the
could be-
Cold War.
Yeah, it was happening, and I think he was supporting Palestine because of his anti-Semitic views. And he was a banker for Hitler. But I think that's completely unconnected to Isdal Woman. Now,
But it's pretty funny that you also researched this guy.
yeah, I just took a quick glance
Yeah.
at Google, you know what I mean? And also, it's never proven that this Isdal mystery woman had any connection with this guy. The only reason why they would believe so is because apparently both of them were in Paris at the same time.
Oh, come on. Now that I realize it, no, anyone could have been in Paris at the same time.
Exactly. I think maybe they were. I could be wrong here, man, but I think there could be a hotel that they stayed in together.
Oh.
But this could be completely wrong, and apparently there was maybe. I don't know, man. I didn't go deep in that one.
You were in Conus when 50 Cent was in Conus. Are you somehow connected? If yes, can I have an
I
autograph?
probably wasn't in Conus when 50 was here.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, basically 50 did a concert here
But in the second biggest city in Lithuania?
with the biggest arena, so it makes
Yeah.
sense it's in the second biggest, you know what I mean? Vilnius doesn't have anything nice here. Yeah, man. I shoulda
Okay,
went.
anyway.
I love 50. Okay, going back. So going back, what I'm saying is that connection with the French Nazi guy, the Swiss Nazi banker guy, I think that's also probably not real.
Yeah.
In my opinion, that's not real. And now we jump to one of the interesting theories here. Multiple investigations point to another reason why she would have been a spy. It's not the wigs, it's not anything else. It's that during the Cold War, Norway had experienced other strange disappearances in the 60s.
Ooh. Do you have
Clo-
any details?
Close to military installations, which traced back to international espionage. The declassified reports of the Norwegian armed forces, so basically the military, also several. Oh, fuck. Oh, sorry. Oh, pardon my French. I messed up.
You need to cut that one out.
I'll try to cut it out for sure. Sorry, guys. Sorry for the bad words. The declassified records of the military in Norway revealed that many of the women's movements seemed to correspond to top secret trials of the Penguin missile. The Penguin missile is an anti-ship missile that was helped to developed by America. Also, it was developed in that town, Severn something, I forgot already, Stavanger, and it was used in service starting in 1972. So kind of convenient timing, right before they released this military new missile called the Penguin missile. You know, people were kind of probably like there were some actual real spies probably from Soviet Union taking a look what's happening there. But how is this connecting to the Isdal Woman is that a fisherman from Stavanger reported to have seen the woman in the area of penguin missile testing. And her presence there is corroborated by a shoe salesman who sold her a pair of rubber boots, the same rubber boots that were found close to her body.
Oh, that's creepy.
So that's the connection, potentially. Or it wasn't her, but maybe it was her. I'm thinking if the boots are connected, then
I mean, what are the chances that it
and
wasn't
what
her?
and what actually, yeah. I just got goosebumps because I was leaning in a little bit of a different theory. Now that I kind of put everything again in my brain one more time, I'm thinking, whoa, this is kind of crazy because, yeah, she really was in Stavanger because of the boots. We know that she was in Stavanger, and some guy apparently told the media that he saw her at the missile testing facilities, or not facilities, but kind of the area. So either the second, or either like the fisherman is completely lying just to kind of like spark up some.
Why would he lie? What would he gain from it?
Oh, something for sure.
You
Like
think so?
yeah, like some media money. Come on, there's something to be gained.
Okay.
There's many things to be gained by doing that. So I think there is a chance that he's lying also. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So that's the connection there. I'm thinking I'm kind of going through some information. We have a little bit more. So we have a bit more information. In 2017, stable isotope analysis of the woman's teeth. So this is kind of so cool. I just learned it today myself.
Yeah, the words are a little too scientific for me.
But get this, stable isotope analysis, he basically indicated that the woman had been born in about 1930, plus or minus 4 years, in or near the Nuremberg, Germany area, but had moved to France or the France-Germany border as a child. So basically, what they do is when they do the isotope analysis, they can develop, I think, food traces, or not food traces, or like something in your skin or something like that. I don't know, like what you ate or something, where that food was grown, in which location.
That
So
is so creepy.
that's so cool. So basically, they can check somehow that she, at the young age, this is my understanding. Maybe I'm completely kind of stupid here, and I think there's a huge chance I'm like talking complete nonsense right here. But the way I understand, they can somehow trace back that at a young age, she ate food that was grown in around the Nuremberg, German area.
Oh my gosh, it's like Google timeline, but in our bodies.
Yeah.
Kind of cool and creepy at the
But I
same
could
time.
be completely talking nonsense here, dude. Like, I'm not a scientist. Like, this could be so wrong, dude.
Might be, but let's go with that.
Yeah, let's just go with this. Let's just go with it. This reinforced earlier analysis of the woman's handwriting. Because which suggested that she had been educated in France or a neighboring country. Okay, because apparently in France they have a specific handwriting. Yeah, I mean I get it. It's probably
Yeah,
like,
I get it. I get it.
probably like the croissant handwriting, right? And then the analysis also indicated that she had been to a dentist in either one of four: East Asia, Central Europe, Southern Europe, or South America. So I kind of would say
I would-
Central Europe probably.
Yeah, I would remove East Asia from
Yeah,
this one.
how
It's a
did
little
she
too
go
far.
to East Asia? Yeah,
Yeah.
or South America also.
yeah.
Kind of far away. It has since been revealed that she is of a mtDNA haplogroup H24, which indicates a matrilineal line of descent originating in Southeast Europe or Southwest Asia. So she is like maybe Middle East, maybe South, like Romania vibes.
Oh, I read somewhere that she had a Balkan accent.
Yeah, like maybe Balkan vibes. And
Oh, that's weird.
the woman also seemed to have a French passport based on the fact that an unidentified French national was registered on one of the flights that she took to Norway. So I believe that she was actually from France and that her real passport was French. She just had a bunch of fake passports for some reason, but I think her real passport was French, and she probably discarded it on the way to the mountain where she was found.
Or it burnt with her.
No, because the placeholder was still there, but there was no passport.
Well, maybe she took the passport away from the.
Yeah, and threw away
Yeah,
the passport.
true.
Yeah, I mean, I think she actively made an active, like, action
Effort.
to like
yeah.
effort to kind of remove her
But
real
why?
identity. She didn't want anyone to know who she was.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah, and then what else do we have here? I looked into some other stuff here.
Oh wait, 1 second. I just realized like it's even crazier that even all after all these years, no one, like absolutely no one came forward.
There
as
were a
a
lot of
family.
men, and she was seen with men that never came forward.
And like the family. She probably had a family, like where's her mom, sister, a dad, maybe a brother. No one came forward to claim that yeah, that's our missing family member.
Yeah, that's true. No one came forward. That's another interesting detail. Maybe it's because she's originally from so far away from Norway that her, let's say, family, who could be potentially Middle Eastern, have never heard about the Isdal woman.
But of course they probably were curious, like where is our kid?
Yeah, and they were maybe looking in Middle East for her. Maybe they were looking in Egypt or
In the Balkan state.
not even Balkan, probably like Egypt or like Saudi Arabia, or but they maybe she's from so far away that her family would never even assume she ever went to Norway.
And it just never connected.
Yeah,
And look at us, we never heard of this case prior to this.
I never heard about it, and I feel like people in the Middle East also never heard about it. It's like very like Scandinavian, and
Yeah.
probably just Norway in general.
Maybe Central Europe.
Yeah,
as well?
Maybe, yeah. So, some other details worth mentioning before I kind of present to you the thing that I was talking about that might change your whole mindset about this case. So, I'm just going to quickly mention that apparently, at the time of her death, only the first dose of sleeping pills had passed in her blood, so she didn't die of sleeping pills. The concentration in her blood was 4.5 milligrams per 100 milliliters. According to the autopsy report, that's about half the concentration it takes to lose consciousness. So she didn't die because of the sleeping pills. So the acting in the blood would certainly have made her drowsy, but by no means she wouldn't been dead because of that. The opinion was confirmed by a second forensic finding, which is that a significant quality of soot particles were found in the scorched woman's respiratory tract, likely from the burning clothes. The autopsy report says that this shows that the deceased woman was alive at the time of the fire. So she died because of fire. She didn't die because of the sleeping pills. The cause of death, the medical examiners concluded, was likely a combination of poisoning from the sleeping pills and the carbon monoxide. So if there was no fire, she would have still died because of the sleeping pills. But the sleeping pills haven't yet taken effect. So this is bizarre. So she takes a bunch of sleeping pills, then sets herself on fire.
Yeah, well, the
Almost to like make sure that she doesn't wake up.
or
But
like
why set yourself on fire already when you had the sleeping pills who
to
will...
remove your identity completely.
Oh my God.
The petrol. I mean, it seems like very intentional.
Oh my God.
Creepy, right?
No, you just blew my mind, dude. Yes, she took the sleeping pills. She wanted to... Oh my God, she burned her face to make sure no one would ever know who she was.
Probably now I'm
Oh
thinking about
my
it, maybe
God,
she,
because she would have been, sorry for interrupting, she would have been found with her face up.
yeah, could have taken a
Everyone would have,
photograph.
yeah, they would have, oh my,
They would have, someone would have eventually found her.
oh, you blew my mind here, man.
No, I have now, I'm thinking about it, maybe she took a bunch of,
Wow.
yeah, I'm thinking about it now, maybe she took a bunch of sleeping pills and before it taken effect, maybe she was starting to feel drowsy. That's when she drenched herself and maybe she set herself on fire in hopes that she wouldn't feel it. She
Oh,
would have been falling asleep.
yeah. Okay, dude. Wow. Okay. Okay. That still doesn't really affect my theory. Well, not my theory, someone else's theory. But I think what you just said is kind of like very like I think plausible, but it still works perfectly fine with what I will present to you in a bit.
Okay. In a bit? Now?
Almost, yeah, 2 seconds.
Okay.
The cause of death, yeah, blah blah blah. I'm just seeing if there's something else. No, I think you know what. I think you know what. Oh yeah, there was also mentioned that in the month before her death, the woman had traveled through Norway twice on two occasions. Because apparently she first arrived in Norway in the spring of 1970. Then she left Norway after some time, and then she came back in October until she finally died in late November. So she's been in Norway previously. So she has a lot of business in Norway, it seems like. And yeah, she also had various quirks. Apparently, in one of her hotel rooms, she always put a chair in the hallway as soon as she left the room and carried it back inside when she returned. She also allegedly changed the number of one of her hotel rooms on her own. So I assume she literally took the numbers and like scribbled over them or something. I don't know. And finally, three eyewitnesses reported that she had met with an unknown man on several occasions in Bergen in the days before she died. Potentially, one man met her multiple times. And with all that being said, now I wanna see if I could change your opinion because you're thinking what? Espionage?
Yeah, and a combination of that and maybe self harm.
Okay, then. So I went to Reddit, and this I think is the most the top post regarding Isdal Woman, or the top ranking post that kind of makes so much information that would make sense. Okay, so I'll just read a few details. This comes from username Smash Mouth Rules. Okay, but this person made a very good, convincing theory for me personally. This case is deeply sad to me because, in my opinion, the resolution is entirely simple and tragic. I'll go through in detail why I believe this, but in summary, the Isdal woman was simply a mentally ill European woman in the midst of a period of acute illness. She wasn't identified in part due to her illness, the time period, the remains, and for socio-political reasons. She was almost certainly not a spy, at least not one employed by a state. She committed self-harm in a shocking but not impossible way. So this person goes on. I work in the mental health field and was previously a clinician. Everything I've read about her movements, behaviors, and presentation suggests that she was someone with mental illness, which predisposes her to periods of specific delusions. You can't diagnose a dead person, but it was likely something like schizophrenia or bipolar induced mania. Patients with those illnesses often display conspiratorial thinking and have delusions of persecution, which triggers behaviors similar to the Isdal woman. I've had clients who believe their homes are bugged or that state actors are following them. When I read the Isdal woman possibly removed all of the furniture from her hotel rooms, changed rooms often, and did numerous things to hide her identity, it reminded me of many people I've worked with. People who genuinely believe their life is in danger will do many things of great effort to keep themselves safe. I've seen patients who wear wigs in public, change their appearance, steal ID cards, go off the grid, and leave the country to flee imaginary pursuers. Witnesses fairly frequently report that the Isdal woman allegedly had poor hygiene and had strong body odor. That's where the smelling like
The
garlic. Yeah,
garlic.
this is where the garlic comes in. Hygiene is one of the things that get sidelined when you're in a state of fight or flight constantly, especially if you're often anxious and fearing for your life. You're going to have body odor. I don't have too much to say about this in particular, but it's not especially damning or illuminating. People often bring this up in context where her outward appearance, expensive clothes, perfumes, nice wigs, being attractive. I'll say it once. Having a mental illness does not necessarily mean that people can't own nice things or care about their appearance or be pretty. In fact, I talk a little bit about this blah 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 later. It's entirely possible that the woman was possibly between 35 and 45, had only started having symptoms of this mental illness in the last 5 to 10 years, and this may have been the first time she experienced a truly acute period of symptoms. So this person is saying that maybe the Isdal woman, she had been developing some sort of mental illness for like maybe 5 years or 10 years already, but now it's really got a hold of her and she started going crazier and crazier, right? Also, the other interesting part that she says is that the codes, I'm already like just paraphrasing, the codes that she wrote down, they were not Soviet Union level decipher codes.
I mean, if the police could decipher it.
Yeah, it's something that you just kind of learn real quick. But it's not, Soviet Union wouldn't use such simple codes. They would use something way more high tech. Another thing that kind of blew my mind here is that I'm not gonna read this whole thing, but the main thing here is that the Isdal woman was likely, and I also think likely, a sex worker.
You probably shouldn't say that word.
An S worker. You know why?
Why? The men.
The men
The presence of men.
who never came forward. The men who never came forward. She was seen with so many men, they never came forward. She always staying in hotels, always traveling around, maybe being an attractive S worker for like the high level guys,
politicians-ish.
like the business people gave her enough funds to travel all of the flying, and she was slowly becoming crazier and crazier.
That's true.
And it took a hold on her, and she did it.
That makes a lot of sense, honestly. Way more sense than the espionage theory.
Way more.
Also, I just realized if it was, and if she was at one point a spy, then wouldn't the government like cover it up?
What do you mean?
Cover it up like I don't know, like.
Well, some people are saying that apparently the Norwegian government did something there, but I didn't know what was happening there. No, I think the very likely explanation that this poster on Reddit, they kind of convinced
They
me.
convinced me as well.
Would you say your mind has been changed about the whole
Definitely.
espionage? I wanted
Yeah.
to leave this at the very end to see like also what the audience thinks.
True.
What do you guys think? Do you think the Isdal woman was an international spy? Do you think what's happening there?
Do you think she did self-harm? Or someone did
Yeah.
it to her?
That's a good question, but I think that she committed self-harm individually. I think
Yeah.
she was so crazy by the end of it that she was trying to hide her face by burning it. and hopefully thinking that, yeah, maybe the sleeping pills will
Take effect. And
take
she wouldn't
effect.
feel anything.
Yeah.
It's just so tragic, you know. She still felt
It's
like
so
extreme agony.
tragic. It feels like she needed help. And all of those people that kind of, if she was a nest worker, I think they're really to blame. I mean, they probably could have seen that this woman
I mean, I'm
is
still
going
thinking,
crazy.
where any family member, where were they? No one stepped in. No.
I think she's far away from. I think the family members probably have no idea what she's doing at this point. And she was probably hiding her, work. If she was an S worker, she probably hid it.
Definitely, yeah.
I don't have anything else to say
Oh
about
wow,
this
this
case.
is a good conversation though.
It blew your mind at the end, right?
Definitely.
Man.
Please.
Okay, guys, thank you very much. And now we're gonna sign out. Please leave your thoughts in the comment section of the YouTube channel. A lot more people are commenting these days, so it's
We're very happy with
Yeah,
that.
we're happy. We're trying to do these podcasts longer, but still keeping them like nice and structured, professional, but also kind of like not super like quick in and out description. Just like do our own thinking here. Thinking
Yeah.
on the podcast, it's important to think. You have to always keep thinking, right?
I guess, yeah, definitely.
So yeah, thank you guys, and we'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.